okay, before I get to the more detailed questions, there are a lot of people out there who everybody's heard of AI at this point, right? Not necessarily everybody understands what AI is or what its limitations are, right? Explain AI to me as if you're explaining it to a 10-year-old. What does AI and neural network and all of this?
So this comes from that. The answer comes from that book which I had to write after learning AI.
Yeah.
Because see, the AI field is actually a mixture of different things. Most people are surprised that the term was coined in late 40s, 1940s.
Okay.
Okay, it wasn't coined in the last 10 years or 20 years.
So it
Right?
was coined in the
quite old.
1940s.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and then people talk about. So the definition is that if a machine, strictly speaking, if a machine is able to mimic human cognition, human understanding,
Yeah.
it is considered artificial intelligence.
Right.
The level of intelligence is not the question. It's basically the machine is mimicking humans' intelligence.
Right.
It's much more than a simple Excel formula. An example, I'll tell you. The one thing that often gets people all riled up is that in a normal coding environment, or even in your Excel sheet, you have a desired, you have some data, 2 fields, 3 fields, 1 field, whichever. You have a certain formula in your head, and there's the cell where you will land the value.
Yes.
In Excel, right? Simple enough. In AI, so basically, the formula is sort of your box. Data goes in, and out comes the answer.
Yes.
Right? In AI, it's a bit reverse. Okay, the box is where the AI does its work. You give the input, you also give the desired output.
And it figures out a way to give you that
The
output.
path you leave alone to the machine to figure out. This
Okay.
gets people really riled up. Leave the how part alone. Okay.
Okay.
That is a longer discussion that we can have as to how it applies statistics,
Yeah.
how it applies other learning methods
Yes.
to figure this part out.
Yeah.
A lot of maths goes in, and other than maths, within maths there's statistics, but statistics is more is the empirical implementation side of mathematics. It's not pure mathematics.
Yeah.
So pure maths is also used, statistics is also used, business understanding is also used. How it actually is designed to figure this out, that if you said this image of a cat, this is an image of a cat, of a dog, and then you say maybe 10 examples of it, and then 11th time you actually bring in a cat not seen before,
A live cat.
no, I mean it can be just a picture, right? It's going to actually see pixels in the end.
Yeah.
If you sees that, that's a cat. Now how it actually did that you leave alone to that machine's capability, right?
Yeah.
But we're just talking about definition here, so
Yes.
I won't go into further depth. But the concept is the box, how it actually mapped the input to the output is the AI's problem.
Yeah.
So that's how AI works.
Okay, that's how AI works. Okay, got it. You leave the box alone, the box works its magic and it gives you the desired result. Okay. The problem now arises that we are wanting that box to mimic human cognition.
You want to enhance it further.
Yeah, so now it gets to the point that the box actually starts doing things faster, better, in a more efficient way than our box works.
Yeah,
right? Now this comes with its own implications. At some point, you realize that okay, if the box can do work better than a human being, what's the point of the human being in the entire process? So is that what AI, all of these AI platforms, everybody working in AI, all the researchers who are on the bleeding edge of AI, is that what they're trying to do? That they're trying to minimize and then eventually eliminate human input from technology altogether? Is that the eventual goal?
We can start the conversation from there. I'll explain how they actually got there and all that as well. There's a bit of a story as to how it all happened.
Yeah.
Some of it is a surprise even to the data scientists themselves.
Okay.
So the idea, I don't think, is to make us short answer, is that I don't think anybody is trying to take the human out of the loop. But what is happening is that they didn't expect this amount of intelligence to come out of those boxes
This quickly.
Like for example, if you go back 4 years, there were the smaller language models, not compared to ChatGPT. They're smaller than that, and they could do basic stuff. Like if you explain a bit, give it a bit of poetry, it would try to summarize the poetry. You asked a few questions: what color was the whale? It could reasonably figure it out. Then they started to get a little bit more intelligent, and things like if you were asking them a question, or maybe it was asking you a question and you were answering deliberately, it said, what is the color of the snail and the whale? And you deliberately switched the colors. From the whale, you gave the snail the color in the same sentence. So people started to trick this with online tests.
Yes.
They would actually give both answers. The machine would get confused and say, yeah, at least blue is there, so blue was the whale, and okay, let's.
Yeah.
Then they started to get smarter. They could understand the context in which you mentioned that word.
Okay.
So I saw this about 3 years back. Then within a year of that, there was some debate that we actually have 2 novels or 3 novels from J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Rings. We probably will feed this into the AI and see what happens. And they came back the next month and they said, well, Danting wrote an entire 5th book or 4th book. Okay, and it actually understood that dwarves live in caves and the sky is blue and this. We thought we were supposed to teach that thing, the color of the sky. And
hang on, there is a 5th book that's completely written by AI.
Yeah, it wrote it. They never published it, but they
Wow.
mentioned in that it is capable of reading the 3 and figuring out what would be the 4th, and it had the same dystopian vision that
and it came up with the plot for the 5th book.
Yeah, it pretty much came up with the plot.
Wow.
And they didn't mention further how strong was the storyline and were there any inconsistencies.
Yeah. I
said it was a pretty decent.
Yeah,
writing.
like
it made sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody was flying in the air, and there wasn't a mad, a wizard who would just turn into a whatever. It made some sense, and they said that was very, and it also borrowed the dark theme that the other books had. That the world will come to an end.
My mind is a little blown right now.
So that's the time I actually realized that it's a little, the genie is a little bit out of their control. Okay?
Yeah.